Your book, your story, your journey. Rightcoach.ie.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Carl, for making this happen. Thank you, Brian, for inviting me into this space. A dear brother, a great friend. Thank you, Carl, for writing your book, doing your thing. Yeah, my name is Barry. It's Mr. Barry. I'm from Wicklow originally, but I grew up in Wexford, Gorey, over in Limerick now, and the work that I do to speak about here now today is work with young men in particular, men, but young men, and for me it's been many years in the making, but about 6-7 months ago I started an organisation called Thresholds, a community organisation which supports the transformation of young men, supports young men as they move through that threshold in life, moving into their potential, moving into their healthiest, best version of themselves, moving into their power, moving into what feels good for them, and giving them space to do this. You know, I feel like school, society, and the way the world is right now, without going too much into it, doesn't often create as much space that is needed, in my opinion, for young men and for humans in general, but particularly young men, as I'm a young man, to explore who they are, to explore what they truly want, to explore their gifts, to explore their uniqueness, to explore their authenticity, to be heard, to be seen, to be guided, to be really cared for. So what our organisation does is it creates experiences for young men to come on what we call an adventure weekend, and then we give them ongoing support in the aftermath of this for a couple of months. This is really to inspire them to live a life that is true to them, to inspire them to live a life where they feel connected, where they have a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, and they're living in a way that feels really true, and from their deepest love for themselves. So yeah, that's what I bring. That's what I feel like is part of the reason as to why I'm here, part of the reason as to why I have been through the journey that I've been through, to be able to stand here and doing this, knowing that like it is it's a pandemic in itself. Young men and their mental health, young men and their minds, young men and their direction in life, young men and the confusion, the mass confusion. So it's an honour to be able to bring this forward and to put a hand out, knowing that I was there in many ways: addiction and mental health and anxiety and depression and suffering and pain. Not that I don't experience that still at times, but being able to share the techniques and the tools and the lived experience, the support and help. So yeah, and just to say, like, the power of the word, the written word, like writing for me was instrumental in my journey and still is. But like, I've written stories upon stories that maybe come out one day, and through voice, through pages, and it's incredible. It's really powerful. So yeah, it's a privilege to be here, and thank you for bringing this all forward. And thank you everybody for listening to me and my little spiel. And if anybody does know any young men, particularly in between the ages of 16 and 23, I do have an experience coming up in August. So yeah, please feel free to reach out, and I would love to have a chat.
Thank you. Your book, your story, your journey. Rightcoach.ie.